Well, here we are again. It is November 16th, Tuesday, and it has been quite some time since we've met and talked about everything beautiful in the world of sports.
I
Um,
know someone had the bright idea to get married during football season. That wasn't really smart.
very, very unintelligent, but that person also did, while a plane flies over me, if you can hear that, the person also made sure to get married on a Friday as to not interrupt any, college football or, I know we're all avid high school football fans, but, a sacrifice has to be made somewhere.
I know. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Friday Night Lights in Western Pennsylvania, but
Yeah. So,
anything for you there, bro.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, and it would have been. I obviously had things going on. The marriage, as we talked about, honeymoon. It would have been nice if some of my co-hosts were able to jump on and give the people a little bit of what they wanted. But I guess the company you keep. It's more of a
I was
reflection
ready
on
and willing.
me than a reflection on
I
you.
was I was ready and willing to participate, but I did not have my partner in crime, and I don't have the technology to do it by myself. Plus, I don't think anyone would want to listen to me just talk to the camera for 35 minutes. Although I could, I
You,
really could do it.
I think you'd be surprised. I would sit in on a special episode where I just come observe you and you just go to town. I would love to see what happens there. Maybe you actually say something smart.
Ah,
I don't know where that
like I
came
say,
from. Sorry, my eyes are.
a little burning,
Yeah,
a
it's
little
not.
smoky in your eyes.
There's a little smoky in my eyes. Yes, yes, we have. I am. I am fulfilling one of my inconveniences, the smoky eye. My now wife was gracious enough to put some makeup on my face, and it is quite inconvenient. So it's as billed, I should say. I mean, I'm not. I mean, whatever. This is a little. We don't talk about it, and especially if you're audio only, we'll put like a video up on YouTube or something like that. But the worst part about it isn't that I look kind of silly or like a little bit more like a pirate than I normally would. Is that it really sucks to put on. I can't believe women do this shit to themselves. It's very uncomfortable putting stuff around the bottom of your eyes and stuff. Like I touch my eyes all the time. I've got contacts, but quite inconvenient.
Can you rub your eye with this stuff, or is it going to smear?
I imagine it would smear. It's not like tattooed on.
Well, some things are less smearable than others, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think either one of us know what the hell we're talking about here. But what we
No,
what we
definitely not.
what we also don't know what we're talking about with is football. So you want to talk about some things that have happened?
We certainly can talk about a few things that have happened in the world of
It's
football.
been like 3 weeks. There's been so much going on. I mean, the
The,
biggest
the
news.
the Cincinnati the Cincinnati Bengals in the span of 3 weeks have gone. We didn't get the podcast for any of it.
It's kind of
They were the number one seed, and now they're like kind of just the middle of the pack after the 3 weeks. So
it just
they've peaked and cliffed.
there's something very wrong with you where I say it's been 3 weeks of sports, 3 weeks of football, and the very first thing you go to is your team's record, and you didn't even say what it was. You just kind of said up and down. Like, why is that? Why? Like, I know that it's top of mind. I know it's your team, but we've had so much happening. I know, but like, it's like
Okay,
that's the first thing you go to. There's so many things.
the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 8 being in first place in the AFC is a newsworthy story. And had we been podcasting that week, that'd be the only thing that we'd be talking
It's
about.
week
So
8.
it's halfway through the season, basically.
I'm just so disappointed. I mean, it's expected. It's to be expected. I mean, look at your hat. I get it, but like, come on, buddy. Got
I only wear this.
Aaron Rodgers, all the drama with him. He totally he went from like this national hero, this like, why are we fabricating stories about Aaron Rodgers on draft day? Let's leave him alone. To now like, I can't believe we considered him for Jeopardy. Like, what just a complete fall from grace. I find comical in what it says about our society, but that we care so much about that. Uh,
He rose and fell just as fast as the Bengals did. All right, I'm done.
Ah,
I'm done. down.
Now it all makes sense. Now I got if you tie it into other things other than just like random like this isn't a Bengals podcast,
No,
although
I
it
know.
seems kind of like an AFC North podcast, recently.
There's nothing wrong with that. It is the best division in football. But I agree. The Aaron Rodgers thing is kind of crazy how that all went down. And
Is it the
he'll
best
never win
division
the
in football?
MVP again.
Oh no, he'll never win the MVP again. But that's not because of the COVID thing. It's just the dude. I mean, listen. Like I know Brett Favre turned it on for the Vikings that one year. I just don't think Rodgers is going to repeat again, just from a football standpoint, not from like a COVID, his reputation's so tarnished. Like he didn't actually do anything. Like the whole he lied to so and so. He didn't. Who he lied to? The league knew about it. We obviously, I mean, we only know about it because he told the league. He told his team.
Did you watch the Fox and CBS pregame shows that weekend? I mean, did you see Terry Bradshaw? What he said there? Like he got lambasted in the press.
Please tell me what Terry Bradshaw said.
Well, he told he's like we're sitting here in the the Naval Academy and this is where honor and integrity is and there's none to be found with Aaron Rodgers or whatever the hell he said. It was ridiculous. And like ESPN was bashing Rodgers, like all the media who they don't like him anymore, and they would never vote for him to be MVP, even if he was good enough to be MVP.
Terry Bradshaw goes on his reality TV show and walks around in his underwear. I don't care what he says. Like what Terry Bradshaw. He's also a dinosaur. Like what does he know? Him and I can't think of two different personalities than Terry Bradshaw and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think that they ever got along before ever.
I don't even know they know each other. Why would they know each other? It's Terry Bradshaw. He's like 75 years old.
Part of the quarterback club. It's a club, right? They all hang out on the weekends and
no
together. No, okay.
No, you think Charlie Whitehurst and Colt McCoy are just cutting it up in some some country club, eating hot dogs, golfing together, just because they're two quarterbacks. Hey, quarterback club, buddy.
It'd be kind of nice to think that does happen.
Gosh.
Anyways, what do you think? Do you think Rodgers is a bad guy for what he did?
No, I think
for not getting vaccinated or
this integrity thing. I let him do his thing. Let him live his life. He's. What I will say is that and you watch the McAfee show, you have more exposure to what Aaron Rodgers actually says. I don't watch that stuff. It's all propaganda to me. I mean, I know I like McAfee and everything. That's a different topic, I guess. But you could probably speak more to Aaron Rodgers' character. But he definitely did have a shift when he went into all this holistic stuff and this. He feels very new agey all of a sudden, and that's not how he always used to be. But I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit what he does in his personal life. Go win games. I want to see the Packers. I want to see you. Here's what I don't care what you do. Vaccinated, lying, Jeopardy, Danica, whatever. I don't care. I want to see Aaron Rodgers go win another Super Bowl for the Packers. That would be so cool. I'm not a Packers fan or anything like that. I've got no dog in the fight. But the Packers are a historic franchise. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but the Packers being good is similar to, I would say Boston being good, the Red Sox being good. Not quite in the same vein. I'm just kind of throwing. I haven't thought about this similarity, but just baseball's better when the Red Sox are good because the Yankees are going to be good and they have a foil. And the NFL is better when these classic, historic NFL franchises are good. Without a quarterback, without a star quarterback, Green Bay is just like a cold city in Wisconsin. I'm fearful for a long stretch of time where Green Bay isn't relevant in football because just based on the location and money alone, that has got to be the first city to go. I'm just saying, in this crazy, think about 10 years from now. Let's say Rodgers finishes the season, they lose in the playoffs, he goes and finishes his career in whatever. Packers never figure it out for another quarterback. They're kind of middling a little bit, and then they kind of go into rebuild mode, like traditional classic rebuild mode, like Detroit type rebuild. how many years do you think that can actually last before people start being like, we could make a ton more money in name the next city? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying that's like so far in the future and probably will never happen. I'm just saying.
The only problem with that, I would say there would be much more of a fear of that actually coming to fruition if the Packers had an owner. But the fact that the Packers are owned by, 300,000 shareholders,
it's only 51% though. It's like just the majority.
It's enough to make sure the team never moves.
Yeah, but
that
things
team's
can
never
change.
going anywhere. Plus, you've got. When I lived there, I lived in Wisconsin, for 5 years, and I've, similar to Pittsburgh, but in a very different way than Pittsburgh. It's a sports area. People are passionate about football, but they're not bandwagoners. And I know it's easy to say that when they're been as good as long, but for as long as they have been, but they're not like Steelers fans where I know that if the Steelers, were bad for 3 seasons, they didn't have a, franchise quarterback, and they were just kind of, they were like the Bengals or the Browns have been the last 20 years, that stadium would be empty every week. Lambeau Field, I promise you, if the team is, 4-12 that season, they're still going to sell out every single game because people love it's just a part of the culture up there. They love going up to the games. They love, cheering for the Packers. They love the tailgate scene, the party scene. The people will still sell out games with a bad team for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, but you could say, but I'm not okay. Thank you for that. I know you've got the context there, but couldn't you say the same thing for other teams that had a long period of time being really good, like Washington? I mean, Washington in the 70s and 80s were great. I mean, they were Super Bowl champions. Like that, you could have back in that time, that period of time, you could have said the same exact thing. And now it's like it's hard to even sell tickets. It's such a disaster because they've been so bad for so long. So I'm just saying, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that I would argue that a sustained period of being like dog shit of the league, that would impact any team. I think even one that's like partially owned by the people.
It would. However, I being dead honest, I can't think of another sports team that has that much of a cultural identity in the region that they are in. There's nothing in northern Wisconsin other than the Green Bay Packers. So all the people in northern Wisconsin on Sundays are going to get together at Lambeau Field and have a big old party, regardless of how bad the Packers are. That's not going to happen in Washington, D.C. because guess what? They got other things to do. Maybe you go, visit the Jefferson Memorial on Sunday instead. You know what I mean? Like people are just going to fall out of a team when it's, because there's other things to do. There's nothing to do up there other than hang out with all your buds in the front lawn of the stadium. You know what I mean? That's just what you do. So I'm not worried about the Packers' longevity if they're bad for a considerable period of time. Now, if they're bad for 20 years, that's a different story. If they're bad for 5 seasons, I don't think there's anything to worry about, and they can get over that hump.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Transition. I wish we had some fanfare, some noises, some little like kazoos or little pop party noises for my victory, my take victory, because Cam's back and winning games all of a sudden. Scotty,
he's won.
What happened? Well, it's okay.
And he didn't even start.
Oh, Scott,
he didn't even play the game that much.
What happened, Scotty? I thought Cam was washed. I thought no team would ever want him as their starter again. What happened here? I mean, I thought that Cam was done. I mean, he's back.
He's effectively done. He will
effectively done. He just won last weekend. They're getting ready for him to be the start of the rest of the season.
This is enjoy every Cam Newton game that you want to enjoy this season because this is his farewell tour.
So wrong, dude.
Are the Panthers going to re-sign him?
Hold on a second. That doesn't matter. You said that he was done. No, it matters for the future, but it doesn't matter for what we had previously talked about. You said he was washed, done. You said he'd never be relevant in football again. Well, guess what? He's relevant now. So you're wrong. He's
marginally relevant now.
That marginally is some, and I'll take some.
It is some. He is on a football team. They will not make the playoffs. They're
You
not
don't
going to
know
do
that.
anything. I do know that.
How do you know that?
Because they're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, pull up the standings real quick. Okay,
Yeah, pull up those standings, buddy.
I'm going to. Okay, so
You
right
pull them
now,
up. You pull them up right now.
right now they're 5-5. Okay, they're not as good as Tampa Bay. Clearly,
5 and 5.
Not as,
5 and 5 is 500, buddy.
Yeah, I know it's 500, but I mean that's where the Bengals are at. Right? Actually, the Bengals are above 500 right now. We're 5-4. So 5-5 is where the Browns are, I guess. So I guess they're in the Browns territory. They're not making the playoffs though. The NFC is so stacked with far superior teams. The Cowboys are better. The Packers are better. The Buccaneers are better. The Saints are better. The Cardinals are better. The Rams are better. The 49ers are better.
Mm.
And the Vikings are probably better than the Panthers. The Vikings would beat the Panthers right now.
Yeah, I might take them. Yeah, I might take them in that. But I would. You mentioned the lower 4 teams of your list. They're all kind of similar to me, including Carolina with Cam. I mean, Darnold started off the season pretty hot, and they looked really good. They had the number 1 defense in the league through the first 4 weeks. That's not nothing, but Darnold fell off the face of the earth, and now he's banged up. And they got CMC back. Their defense is still playing decent. They weren't not like they started the season, but I don't know. And there's buzz and energy around the team that can take you a long way.
The only thing that they have going for them, here's the remaining schedule, okay? So they just beat the Cardinals, which is a big deal, but the Cardinals didn't have any of their key players, right?
Win's
so that
a
was
win,
not
buddy.
a real win's a win, I understand, but like Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are playing that game. Chase Evans is playing that game. It's not close. But so they have Washington next, then they go at Miami, then they have the Falcons. They have a shot at winning all 3 of those games,
Yeah.
I think. Then they play at Buffalo, losing that game. They're playing the Buccaneers at home.
Just lost to Washington.
They'll lose that game.
Just lost to Washington.
They'll play. Washington is a better team than the Panthers are right now.
What?
yeah, that's my take.
What? You just pulled that out of your ass. You don't really believe that.
I did a little bit. I don't really believe that, but if you put those 2 teams head to head, I would say Carolina +2 or -2, I should say. Like they're not going to blow out Washington. It'll be a low scoring, crappy game to watch. It'll be at 1 o'clock on Red Zone that we'll just kind of have to muddle through.
Here's a bet that is impossible to track or do or find out the results of, but I would say that Carolina would beat Washington 7 times out of 10.
7 times out of 10.
Yeah, did you not hear me the first time?
No, I repeated it. I just said, 7. Interesting.
Oh,
7
interesting.
times
Yeah. That's what I think. That's my take. That's my take. What do you think of that?
Guess what? They do play each other this week, so I guess we'll find
perfect. That's perfect. Hey, big matchup. A little Cam Newton against his former coach, Riverboat Ron. That'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, there'll be some headlines there.
Let me ask you this, Scotty. Who has more to prove? Riverboat against Cam or Cam against Riverboat?
Cam absolutely has more to prove, and that's not really that good of a question because Cam got cut from the Patriots earlier this year, so he has everything to prove. He does a little. They had
a rookie quarterback. They wanted to give him the team. That's not fair to say.
Oh, I think so.
Cam's back. What a great story. If nothing else, Scotty, you have to even you cold-hearted man, even you have to agree that Cam being back with padding on to the franchise stats. I mean, it's just a cool story. The dude can still play, and to come back it would be much sadder if he came back for the Saints would have been fun too. Like the Dolphins. Oh, Cam with the Dolphins, that's a disaster. If you watch the game on him on the sidelines, he's already the leader of that team. He was been there for 3 days. It's just a cool story.
The first thing that he did was a 1-yard run for a touchdown, and then he gets a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. That is a quintessential Cam Newton. That's a snapshot of his whole career is. Oh, I'm big.
No, that's so not true.
Score a touchdown, little success, flag because I'm a big distraction.
I shouldn't have cut you off. I should have let you finish that terrible, terrible opinion. That's not
Anyways,
that's not the definition of his career. And also,
it's a good microcosm of his
it's terrible. It's
career.
bad. I would even argue that the energy and the buzz that score and his reaction generated, it's, it's worth more than those 10, 15 yards he lost on the penalty. Whatever, man. It's a kickoff. Who
I will say
cares?
it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of cojones for him to do that, because if he sucks the rest of the season, he's gonna look kind of stupid from that moment. You know what I mean? But
He just didn't have a team. He came back and scored a touchdown in his first game back with his team. I mean, I don't know. That's a big deal.
His team. This is what's so confusing, because I agree that it is a compelling story. I wouldn't say it's a good story. I'd say it's a compelling one, because it's so confusing. Like, why would the Panthers, after basically divorcing him and saying, "Hey, we're done. You go do you, and we're going to move on completely," they bring him back, which is a weird thing to do. And I'm not saying that it's a wrong thing to do or whatever. I'm just saying, from an organizational stability standpoint, if I was a fan, I'd be very confused by this type of a move. You move on, or
maybe from a fan's perspective, maybe. But think about it. All they did, yes, they let Cam go because they had a whole change of everybody, the personnel, the head coach, everybody got changed. They're like, well, we're going to start totally fresh. And for one reason or another, they didn't draft a rookie quarterback. They were like, oh, let's see if we can do something with Darnold. We have other good players on our team. That doesn't work out. He gets hurt, and they're left with PJ Walker. I mean, all they did, Scotty, was they looked out there and said, which quarterback that could be available to us gives us the best chance to win right now? Well, it's Cam. So that's all they did. Yeah, it's strange only because he used to be there and they let him go. But from a football standpoint, I think it makes sense.
that just proves how bad Cam is. That they had to be staring down or finishing off the season with PJ Walker for them to be like, oh, let's give Cam a call. I guess we'll bring him back, and he'll sell some tickets. And you got jabronis like you; they're gonna get so excited about it and whatever. And they'll salvage the season in that way, and they'll move on, and he won't play again. That's what's going to happen.
That's not how football works, dude.
You tell Mister prognosticator.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, you're so great at your predictions and stuff. You tell me what happens to Cam the rest of the season, and where does he go next season?
Okay, without having thought about it too much, I would say that Cam keeps the Panthers in the conversation in the playoff hunt through mid-December, at the very least. I mean, we're almost there anyway.
Like 3 weeks from now, yeah.
I think that the Panthers stay very much in the mix for the division. Second in the division, they stay in the mix. And maybe if once they give Cam the team back, because they only played like half the snaps not even half the snaps at quarterback last week. Give Cam the team, see what he can do. I think that he could keep him absolutely relevant. Maybe if a team like the Seahawks just can't get back into shape with because they looked really bad against the Packers the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if the Seahawks kind of fall out of it, maybe the 49ers fall into some bad luck because they're one of the teams you mentioned, kind of in that middle, in that upper mid section of the NFC. I could see them kind of falling apart. Maybe Jimmy G has a couple bad games in a row. Trey Lance, we're watching the season, and maybe that opens up the door for Carolina to maybe make the last team in the playoffs. Into next year, I mean, Cam would have to do significantly well, like be the reason they're winning these games for him to stay with the team. I don't think it's going to be a long-term situation. I think that they said to themselves, we've got a good team right now. We can still contend right now. I mean, you have to remember, the coaches' jobs are on the line too. I know it's only been like 2 years, but they're thinking about themselves as well. They're still trying to win. So I don't think it'll be a long-term thing unless Cam lights it up, which I don't think is going to happen. I still think he's a serviceable quarterback and works for them right now. I think that's what they saw, that's what they wanted, and that's what they're going to get. Okay, good,
we'll
good. What I mean, in 30 seconds, what do you think is going to happen with Cam?
I think that he'll have some ridiculous and crazy highlight plays over the course of the rest of the season, and he's going to be really, really bad a lot of times too. He's going to cost the Panthers games where an average quarterback probably wouldn't have. They're going to miss the playoffs, and then he's going to try to find a team to be the starter on this offseason. He might sign with a team, maybe with the intention of being the starter, a la an Andy Dalton situation, and then he'll be replaced halfway through next season, and then that'll be it. We'll never see him again.
I think what might actually happen is he'll use this as a springboard into not playing football anymore, but to maybe like reshaping his whole persona, and maybe he'll get a media job. Couldn't you see Cam on like NFL Countdown or something like that?
Oh yeah, I could see that, and I'd probably like him too.
I think
He'd
so.
probably be really entertaining to watch. Yeah, I would like that. Like kind of like a I don't know, like on the NFL Network, it's like one of those analysts, that kind of just.
If Ryan Clark can do it, why can't Cam? I mean, he doesn't seem unpleasant to work with, really.
No,
I mean,
he seems like a pretty bright guy too, for the most part.
Yeah. So I think what actually happens, happens is that he uses this to a little reputation rebuild and shows he can still play. He plays a little hero ball for the Panthers. Nothing comes of it, and boom, job with Fox Sports next season.
That's a good timeline. I like that timeline.
I'm glad we agree. Okay, there are other things is there anything you want to talk about before we get into like Power Fives and helmets? We're very behind, by the way. We've missed a couple weeks.
We are.
It's kind of embarrassing, but nobody watches this anymore.
It's your fault. You could have chosen any other months out of the year to get married, but you had to choose, football season.
Yes, we've been through this. I'm sorry, Scotty.
I know, but again, that's what I was waiting. I was waiting for an apology, and I appreciated that I finally got one. So.
We could talk about
we could
talk about the Browns, but if we did that, we would be a little bit more homery. We were stepping into that territory again, and I could also probably would drag a bit because I feel like I've got a lot of defending to do, a lot of nuanced defending.
If it wasn't for the Bengals getting absolutely just beat down by the Browns, you'd have a lot more defending to do. But that was a rough game for us. So
here, I want to say one thing about the Browns, and I'll make it quick. But one of the things, and I'm opening up to you here. Okay, what are you looking? Okay. I see you just opened a window on your browser. Are you looking for something?
No, I'm not looking for anything. I promise.
So I'm opening myself up to you. I'm going to show some vulnerability here. Okay. So
yeah. Let's see your sensitive side, Kev. Come on.
Yeah.
We've never seen that side of you before. Let's go.
Yeah, you might never again. So the feeling I keep getting more and more is that this version of the Browns. I mean, they were an 11-win team last year, but this version of the Browns is going to be very similar to the Vikings in recent years. In terms of just the type of team they are a run-first team. And I actually, the type of football they're playing right now, I love it. I just wish they were like blowing teams out, playing the way they do. It's not trestle ball, because trestle ball is infuriating. But they want to control the ball on the ground. I'm getting into the weeds here. They want to control the ball on the ground, work the clock. But when it doesn't go well, teams can just stay in it with them. The Vikings in the last couple of years, I mean, hell, they went to an NFC Championship game. They went deep into the playoffs a couple years. They beat the Saints, so those dominant Saints teams that, but they never were able to. You never felt like this team is going to just steamroll people. Like they never went into a matchup where it's like, oh, like I'm taking the Browns, and I don't care who says anything else. Like they're gonna win. I don't think we're ever going to feel that way about this team, and it's not a Baker thing. It's just a team thing. It's like a collection of these guys. Like they've got a great defense right now, just like the Vikings had an amazing defense at the start of that run, and they had an offense that could put up some points, wasn't blowing anybody out, but it was the defense that was really was the star of the show. In recent years, the defense has kind of fallen off. The Vikings offense has had to do more. And they're just not having as much. They're in a ton of close games that they probably should win, but kind of find a way to lose or barely win them. I'm rambling a little bit here, but do you kind of get what I'm saying? I'm starting to have fears that the Browns are going to be this era of the Browns. And it's not a question of like should you extend Baker or not. I think they should for other reasons. I don't have to get into it, but I just think that I'm not even concerned because this is better than anything I've ever had. So I'll take this. I'm not upset about this. I'm just saying as I'm watching this team, I'm feeling like, yeah, they might make some like middle to deep playoff runs, but this is not going to be like a dominant, like overpowering team.
Yeah, I mean, I think your analogy to the Vikings is spot on. I mean, heck, Stefanski came from the Vikings when they had that same type of a system. Now, he didn't have as much control of the defense over there, but it was a defense team, run the ball, control the game, control the clock, control the line, and that's how you win games, and they're successful in that way, and the Browns are too. I do think, and not to give Browns too much credit, but I think that their success is predicated upon a strong offensive and defensive line, and they've had so many injuries in the offensive line. Like, if you have Jack Conklin there, like, it's a little bit of a different story. Baker has a little bit more time, so in those third and long situations, he can, make more magic happen where he can't do that right now. He gets eaten alive, like, relatively quickly. So I do think that is a big cause for the Browns is, I would say, lack of living up to expectations this season because when your line's hurt, that's and you're built, that's how your team's designed to operate. It's going to be rough. So I don't know about re-signing Baker. I think that there's better. Baker is, I mean, best case scenario, Baker is a younger Kirk Cousins, which hey, in that Vikings type of an offense, that isn't terrible, but as we've seen, when you need to air the ball out and, when you have to actually like put some points up and break away from how you're kind of structured and built by running the ball, and kind of controlling the game and controlling the clock. He's not the guy that's going to go out there on a 2-minute drill, with being down by a touchdown. He's not going to just sling the ball down the field like a really good quarterback can do, like an Aaron Rodgers or whoever. He'll never, ever be that way. So the best he'll ever be is a game manager who won't make a lot of mistakes. And he's not doing a good job living up to that right now.
He's only got like 4 or 5 interceptions on the season. Maybe less than that. I mean, he's doing fine. They just don't throw the ball a ton. And when you are relying, also Kareem Hunt's been out half the season. Chubb's been in and out of the lineup. I mean,
they've had injuries. Injuries are a big problem.
OBJ has just been a disaster. He's gone now. That's another thing we haven't talked about. Jarvis has been out of the lineup for a while. I mean, we talk all the time about like Aaron Rodgers needs weapons and why can't you say the same thing for Baker? I mean, a run game can help your football team as you're setting up play action and things like that. That's how the Browns operate. But I wouldn't say that Baker's had a ton of receiving weapons to make him a good throw. When the Browns are behind, like they were in the second quarter of this last week, and they got destroyed by the Patriots. It was like 7-21. Well, it's time to throw, and now we got to throw, and you got Rashard Higgins and like a banged up Jarvis Landry and like a bunch of other like wide receiver running back guys. And this sounds like excuses, but we would say the same thing about anybody else. I mean, look at Jameis Winston this year, earlier on. He was doing fine. It's Jameis. He's probably looked better than he had in recent years, but no Michael Thomas, no wide receiver that's really relevant. I mean, how many Saints wide receivers can you name right now? Yeah, they've got Kamara. Callaway, and there's like a Deontay, someone, and there's no real tight end to speak of there. It's like you need at a certain point you can be as good as you are, but you need some good weapons to throw to. And I don't think Baker will ever be a Mahomes. I don't think he'll ever be like a.
He'll never be a Joe Burrow.
They're different. They're different kinds of quarterbacks. That is true, and they don't have. I mean, they don't have to be the same to be successful. That's what I'll say.
That is true. I agree. But like Joe Burrow is a guy who, that like if you need to score a touchdown in less than a minute, I'd much rather have
It's
Joe
Scotty, yeah,
Burrow than
but
Baker Mayfield.
he's also got Boyd, Higgins, and Jamar Chase. Those are like at least two of them are first round wide receiver picks. I mean, wasn't Higgins a first round pick?
Higgins was a second round pick.
Still, like high. These are developed guys that have been with the team for a while, consistent, like a good receiving core.
Like, the Browns can't develop a good receiving core. I mean,
They maybe could, but they
they
haven't.
certainly tried.
They
They have
did.
Jarvis
They certainly
Landry.
did try. They have had Odell. I mean, Peoples Jones is a decent receiver, but he's still young, and it's hard to tell how good he actually is. It's just early for him. So it's like it's not a Burrow versus Mayfield thing. It's really not. I mean, it will be for hopefully the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, but
It won't be because
I think
Burrow's going to last a long time and Mayfield will not.
I just see now we're getting into this whole thing. It's easy right now to shit on Baker, but a week ago he played really well against your Bengals and kind of made them look stupid. Like he's had good games this season. It's like as soon as he's bad, everybody shits on him. As soon as he's good, everybody's just quiet. Like nobody wants to pray. It's undeniable that Baker Mayfield has an unlikable personality if you're not a Browns fan. He always has since college, since his Oklahoma days. I mean, you just don't like the guy unless you're a fan of the team he plays for. I didn't like the guy. I didn't want him. He put a flag in the middle of Ohio State Stadium. I don't like that. Like he's just unlikable. So you're always talking about the media narrative, what the media is talking about, all this shit. Well, guess what? He's one of those. He's a first overall pick. If he was a second overall pick, if he was a third or top 10 pick guy, it'd be a little bit different. No one's shitting all over Darnold. Darnold's having a disaster of a career. I mean, think about that. Like, it's really bad for Sam Darnold. Daniel Jones is having a very rough go at it. Both of those guys are top 10. Josh Rosen completely fell off the map. Like, if it weren't for Josh Allen as the comparison point, because they were in the same draft, a couple picks apart, Baker would be like the best quarterback in that draft class, hands down.
No, there's two quarterbacks better than Baker in that draft.
Lamar Jackson, I get it, but
Lamar Jackson,
he had an MVP season. But do you feel confident in the Ravens? I mean, literally, we're about to talk about the Ravens Bears this weekend, and I'm like, the Ravens have kind of looked shaky this whole season. They've been winning. The Ravens have been very much like. Let's just get into it. How about that? Because we've been talking about this shit long enough.
All right, Power 5.
Power 5. All right, good transition. Thank you, Scotty, to our Power 5 first game. Ravens at the Bears. The Ravens, you have to look it up. The Ravens are a minus. I want to say -4.5. I have that right? The Ravens are minus 6.5. 6.5.
Yeah.
So like the Ravens have had a lot of close games this year. They're playing a lot. They're having a similar season to me like the Vikings are having. The Vikings have been a ton of close games. They win some, they lose some. They struggled to beat Detroit. They lost in overtime to the Raiders. Like they've just been up and down. And I see the Bears as Fields has had even more games now to kind of get used to. Both teams are coming out of a bye week. I don't know. I think Chicago will keep it close. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they could win or lose by a field goal. I think that's completely reasonable, given the Ravens' track record this season.
I would agree with that. I think that the Ravens roster, top to bottom, is not that great. I mean, they're middle of the pack, I would say. The games that they have won, it's been because Lamar Jackson's was playing outside of his mind on. Just getting open, making critical, scramble runs for first downs, things like that. Like he's carried that team, and he can only carry that team so far because football is a team sport. So, I'm not big on the Ravens right now, and I think with the spread in particular, -6 in Chicago, I think that the Bears can keep the game close. Fields can make some plays, and they'll definitely be within 6, if not maybe even win the game and kind of maybe surprise upset. So I'm definitely going with the Bears on this one.
Okay, so think about that. Think about what you just said there. Okay, you're going with the Bears, but they've got Lamar Jackson, like all the reasons you described. But why aren't we talking about if it's possible that the Ravens, that are currently like in second place in the division, I think, if they're not leading it, if you by your standards, if you're saying that there's a realistic chance that they could lose to the Bears, The Bears are not a good team. I think everybody would agree. The Bears are not good this year. They're not the worst in the league, but they'll be a top. They'll be a top 10 pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about Lamar Jackson? Nobody's. I'm not even sorry. I asked you a question and I kept talking. My bad. But my point is that we don't talk about Lamar this way because he has an MVP season in his back pocket. So does Cam, by the way, and you shit all over him. But players can fall off. Players can have a good season and then not be good again.
No, you talk about lack of weapons. Who the heck does Lamar Jackson have to throw? They're throwing out anyone that can walk.
Scotty,
is a running back right now.
Oh, is a running back, yeah.
Like they've got they lost all 4 of their opening day running backs to injuries before the season basically started. They're throwing out like any scrub, whatever.
It's true.
They don't have any receivers at all. I mean, he's got nothing to work with. If you want to talk about weapons, he's got no weapons to help protect him or anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, sure, maybe he's got some issues getting the ball down the field or whatever. Sure, but if you don't have all those elements that you just described, that why Baker Mayfield can't always be successful, you got to give Lamar Jackson the benefit of the doubt this season in particular.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If Devontae Adams, in some weird twisted world, were to all of a sudden be picked up and placed on the Ravens, would Devontae Adams be as good as he is with the Packers?
Him by himself?
Oh, just like his stats, how he plays, the things we measure players by.
No, I would say no, but that's not a complete argument there, though, because the Packers' offense and Aaron Rodgers and how they run their offense is very different than how the Ravens run their offense and how they would plan to run their offense if they had healthy running backs and things like that. So
if it's not Devontae Adams, what weapon could the Ravens offense use that would make?
They would make the rate. You asked. That's 2 different questions, Kevin. You asked would Devontae Adams be as good as he is on the Ravens? Statistically, he wouldn't have the same stats. No. Would he be able to get the separation and get downfield and do all these types of things as he normally does? Absolutely. And he would still make that team a better team. The Ravens would be absolutely better with Devontae Adams.
Okay, well then what does success for a Ravens wide receiver actually look like? That's my question. Like, what does an amazing like what
I don't know.
What would we need to be able to say, oh, Lamar Jackson, he's got all the weapons in the world. No excuses now. Like, if they don't play the same kind of football, and they don't throw as much, or they don't throw like that, then how do we know for sure that he doesn't have the weapons he needs? I'm just asking the question. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not making a point or just anything.
Yeah, I know, but you're conflating your questions here. You're not reaching the logical conclusion with your questions. Okay, so what needs to happen? I would say a good measurement of success for a Ravens wide receiver. I don't know. You and I could name a few. Like, that would be a good success. That means that they're like actually like making some plays, scoring some touchdowns. They're getting some air time. I can name plenty of them. Okay, name.
They got Sammy Watkins, Marquise Brown. And, you got Mark Andrews.
It's not a wide receiver; it's a tight end.
Okay. I mean, that's it. There's another one in there in the noodle up
there
here.
Is. There's probably 4 or 5. Yeah.
Oh, Bateman, Rashad Bateman. There you go.
Rashad Bateman. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, the pride of Purdue.
Yeah. I would say if any of those receivers, Brown is relevant in fantasy football. I mean,
all of those guys, they pass enough as many catches as you would assume that a Ravens wide receiver would catch, because they just don't play the same kind of football. Is there a point that I'm trying to make? Maybe I've forgotten what it is. Next game.
That's okay. We should move on to the next game. Yeah.
next game is Green Bay at Minnesota. Green Bay is favored -2.5. I actually forgot who I took in this game, and I can't look up my stuff. I took Chicago before, by the way. I think I wrote down Minnesota here. something's up with the Packers. I know they just lost. They're probably not going to have Aaron Jones for this next week, and they're playing in Minneapolis. The Vikings just beat the Chargers, a good Chargers team this year. I'm sure that the Vikings will end up losing by a field goal, but I think that's still no, that would lose me the Vikings.
I would lose you the
I'm
thing.
still taking the Vikings, I think. If I wrote that down, I can't change my screen. I'm still taking the Vikings. Skull baby.
I like the Vikings here. I like the Vikings as just a team. Like they're a team that I like to root for. Lots of great things going on with them. Love the coach. I think though, and okay, I would not be. This could be one that I could lose this one because I'm gonna go Packers because I think the Aaron Rodgers, he gets to practice a full week now. He gets to go do his normal game day prep. He looked a little rusty. I think AJ Dillon is gonna be just a just fine substitute for Aaron Jones. And I'm sure hoping so, anyways, because I got him on my fantasy team. But I think that the Packers are just hands down that what they've done on the defense, the defensive side of the ball. I think that they're going to be able to keep the Vikings, under wraps, and they're going to win that game.
All right. Next game is New Orleans at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is favored -1.5. I mean, how could anyone sit there and be confident in the Eagles? I mean, they've been. I think they won last week. Who they beat last week, Scotty? Help me out, buddy. Help me out.
They beat the Broncos.
They beat the Broncos. Okay. If you're a Philly, that's a game you
in Denver. Denver.
All right. That's a big deal. If you're an Eagles fan, that's a game you have to win. I mean, you'd love to beat the Saints too. I mean, I don't know. Trevor Simeon's not losing the games for them. Kamara needs to come back. I think the Saints were in it with Tennessee until the second half. So, like, if Kamara comes back healthy, which I'm assuming he will, I'm taking the Saints. I mean, hell, it's 1.5 points. I'm not taking the Eagles anywhere. I mean, I might take the Eagles against Washington, one of the two games they play this year. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel confident that the Eagles can put together a full game convincingly. Like, I have Jalen Hurts in my fantasy league, whatever. I see his numbers all the time. The numbers are good. But everything I hear when I'm not able to watch the Eagles is that, hey, it's not pretty, but he's still putting up numbers. It's like, okay, well, if it's not pretty, that means they're not playing great, and that means I got no confidence in them winning an actual football game. New Orleans.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go Eagles here, and I'm a few reasons why. Looking at the Eagles' schedule, their record is not. It's not bad. It's not great. They're 4-6, but they have won against the teams that they should beat, and they've lost to the teams they probably should lose to. Like, they've had a tough first half of schedule. They've lost to the 49ers, which, I would put them right around the same caliber. Lost the Cowboys, who are a superior team. Lost the Chiefs, who are, they're the Chiefs. Beat the Panthers. Lost to the Bucks, who are the defending Super Bowl champions. Lost to the Raiders. Lost to the Chargers. But they beat the Lions. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Panthers. I think this Saints team in particular, with Trevor Siemian as quarterback, is a game they should win, and they're going to win. And I honestly, as much as I don't like Philadelphia, and it's been documented on this podcast how little I care for the city of Philadelphia, looking at the remaining schedule here, they got the Saints, Giants, Jets, Washington, Giants, Washington. They could go on a run here. They could easily go on a run and win 5 of these 6 games based on the teams that they're playing. The toughness of their full season schedule is by the wayside now, and you could actually see the Eagles light it up, and they could make a run for the playoffs. And I think that might start this weekend when they beat the Saints.
Cincinnati at Las Vegas.
Cincinnati, a good game.
Cincinnati's favored by 1 point. Both teams coming off a bye. This was a tough one for me because I think the Bengals and the Raiders are very evenly matched. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish within a couple positions of each other when on draft day. I'm going Vegas and honestly, it's kind of a coin flip, and I'm going to Vegas only because they're the home team. I mean, that's it wouldn't surprise me at all if Burrow just came out and had a great game. Joe Mixon's I think he's healthy now after the bye, because he's been a little bit banged up all season. Not all season, but he's had some things. I'm just going Raiders, home team advantage. Raiders have been through a lot. The Raiders have become, because of all the shit that's gone down this season, they've become one of those like we're doing this for each other teams. And I know that usually that is usually an effect and most influential in terms of game outcomes early in the season. Like the Lions, I think the Lions were playing their best ball like the first couple weeks of the season. They were still losing, but the bad teams usually can strap some together before they kind of realize they're bad. That's kind of a different situation. The Raiders are a good team that's just had a lot of adversity. I just think that they're playing with a lot of grit and toughness because they have to, not because they want to, or not because that's how they are. I think the Raiders will pull this out at home.
Wow, there's a lot. There's a lot there.
Yeah,
I would say, and I'm really first off, out of all the games this season that the Bengals are playing, I'm really excited for this game. But even more excited now because it feels like both teams are on completely different trajectories, but are literally meeting right at the middle where they're the most even. I think the Raiders are on this roster is on the decline. Their coaching situation is in limbo. Derek Carr is on his way out. He's not going to be the starter for much longer.
What?
He absolutely is not going to be. He's not going to be the starter for much longer.
Wait, why are you taking shots at Derek Carr?
Because he's never been that good of a quarterback. He's not. He's always been like average to below average.
He's the leader of that team.
Exactly, and that team is not that great. Okay, so hold on. I'm not done. Okay. Meanwhile, the Bengals are surging. They've had a few speed bumps, but they're overly exceeding expectations. They've got a good young team. They're making some awesome plays. They're winning games. They're people are like, oh wait, this Bengals team they got something going on now. We've got one team going down, one team coming up. They're meeting at the middle. The Bengals are going to keep going up, and the Raiders are going to keep going down. Look, we talk about this Raiders team. I got the schedule pulled up. Here's who they've beaten so far. Okay, they beat the Ravens, who we just talked about are, kind of this year. Okay, so they beat the Ravens at home. They're opening finally the first time with fans. They eked out a win in that game. They beat the Steelers, who are a dumpster fire of a team this year. They beat the Dolphins. Then they lost to the Chargers. They got their butts kicked to the Bears. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Eagles. They lost to the Giants, and then they just got destroyed by the Chiefs. So they are not like this powerhouse team that can kind of upset whoever. They lost to the Giants for crying out loud.
Nothing there convinced me that they're not a good team. Like no, they lost to the Giants, but do we really know the Giants are? They have some flashes. I mean they can. I mean
the Giants have some flashes. What are you talking about?
The Giants are one of those teams. The Giants are like they're one of those sneaky bad teams. Like people go into face the Giants, not concerned, not overly worried about they're certainly not worried about getting blown out. But then they show up and they have a couple big plays and they're all of a sudden in it, and then you have to deal with the freaking Giants. They're one of those teams.
So you're saying the Giants are like the Purdue of the NFL?
Purdue. Purdue's so bad this year. Why'd you go with Purdue?
Purdue's not bad this year. They're ranked. They're 17th.
All I know is they just lost by a ton this past week in Ohio State.
They did. They lost.
That's what's fresh in my mind. Maybe Michigan State. No, because they're not. The Giants aren't as good.
They're top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan State.
I'm just saying that I don't. Again, none of the teams that they've lost to, or the teams that they've beaten, like it just doesn't tell me a lot.
They haven't beaten anyone good.
Oh well, if we say the Ravens are good, I mean.
But we'll know on Thanksgiving Day how good a team the Raiders are when they play the Cowboys in Dallas.
Ooh.
If they can make that game competitive, I will concede that they're still a decent team that can salvage the season. But if they lose to the Bengals and then the Cowboys just dog walk them on Thanksgiving Day, it's not going to be pretty for that organization. So Anyways, going Bengals.
Transition. I actually, I revised my take. I don't think the Raiders win. I think they win convincingly. Okay. Dallas at Kansas City. Kansas City minus 2.5. This is going to be the game. I think this is Sunday Night Football. I don't know which one it is.
It's a 4:29 game.
Of course, Cowboys. So this is going to be one of the games that like everybody's watching, everybody's talking about. I think it'll be a good one, and I think I took Kansas City, even though I could totally see Dallas winning. I'm going to stick with Kansas City, only because Kansas City need a gut check, and they won last week. Can't remember who they beat, but they won last week. Do you remember they beat last week? Sports show. We don't even know the things. But
no, we have limited technology here. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Raiders 41-14.
Okay. They destroyed the Raiders. Okay. That was a big division win. They weren't looking ahead to Dallas, but now all eyes are on this game. It's at Arrowhead. You got one of the hottest, buzziest teams in the country, the Cowboys, coming in. Going to show you what's what. Everybody's kind of down on the Chiefs because they're like, oh, Mahomes has to figure it out. He's not getting as lucky with his throws anymore. They hear all that stuff. Kelsey's got his mojo back. I think this is a statement game for the Chiefs. And championship caliber teams show up in these moments. I like the Chiefs.
I'm going boys all the way. Well, you had your time.
I did, but my name's on the title. Andy Reid. I noticed. Andy Reid's not going to get punked by McCarthy. Okay, he's not going to. Not at home.
Listen. Okay, stop. All right. First off, love this matchup. I wish it was Sunday Night Football. It's kind of BS that the Steelers-Chargers is the Sunday Night Football game.
Tell me about it. Big Ben might even play.
Chiefs-Cowboys would be a Super Bowl matchup that I'd want to watch.
It would.
I'd love to see that.
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Yeah, you got two Super Bowl winning head coaches. You got prolific offenses. You got good. Well, I would say the Cowboys defense is pretty good. The Chiefs defense has been a little suspect this season in particular, but I think it's going to be a shootout. It's whichever team has the ball last could potentially win, and I'm hoping for Dak all the way, baby. Just lighten up the field over in Kansas City. So I'm going Cowboys.
All right, let me just note this down. Okay, that's all well and good. Can I say one thing before we pick our helmets?
Maybe.
I said this a while ago. Preseason, actually. Might have been before preseason. But the Browns' schedule, when the schedule was released back in like April or March or something like that, I took one look at that thing and I said, there's no way the Browns win as many games as last year. I don't even think they win 10 games. I know that like in our fun little thing we did here, I had them winning like 10 or 11 games and like possibly winning the division. I know I picked all those games. But this schedule is a really freaking hard schedule. I mean, I'm gonna go down the list. You read the Raiders. I'm not gonna say win-loss. Just think about the teams that they're playing: Chiefs, Texans, Bears, Vikings, Chargers, Cardinals, Broncos, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, and they got the Lions, Ravens, Raiders, Packers, Steelers, Bengals. There are like three gimmies in that one, and it's like Houston and Detroit. Everything else is like, those aren't bad teams. A lot of them are good teams. I mean, I think the Patriots are way better than people gave them credit for. It was the Cardinals, the Cardinals were when they added the 18th game or the 17th game of the season, the Browns got the Cardinals, who just happened to be one of the best teams of the season this year. So like, it's a hard schedule. If the Browns win 9 games, I'll be happy with that. I mean, especially considered all the injuries they've had. I'm not going to be happy, but it's 9 games.
You just said you'd be happy.
They'd be 9-8. That's not good. I don't like that. But
like this is a big boy league. You got to win the game.
You just hit me with big boy. Are you fucking serious right now?
It's a big boy game.
You can't throw big boy at me.
They should be better than the Chargers.
Why? Why? Tell me why.
Well, because they should. They are on a their rebuilding plan as an organization. They're farther along than the Chargers are, so they should be better than them.
Well, the coach has been
They've got
around
a
for
better
2 years rather than the Chargers 1 year.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. And the quarterback, I mean, they've got more experience in key positions, and you got Myles Garrett versus Joey. I mean, they're literally like they're not the same team, but they started from the same depths. Okay, and the Browns are farther along than the Chargers are. So the Browns should be a better team. So you can't drop that game. Okay, that's one.
They lost
You
by
should never
5.
have
It was
lost to
40,
Patriots.
it's 42-47. And also, hold on a second.
Well,
The
score
Patriots,
49 points.
the Patriots, Bill Belichick is still a defensive wizard. I mean, that dude can still coach. Like, I don't know why, just because Brady's gone, people are all down on the Patriots. Cam Newton thing didn't work for the Patriots. I think we all kind of knew that would happen. They got Mac Jones is exactly who everybody thought. The Patriots are doing just fine.
We don't need to go into how great the Patriots are because they're not that good. They should have never lost by that much, and they definitely shouldn't have lost to the Steelers at home. The Browns should not have. That game, they should have won that game. The Steelers are not that good of a team.
That was a screw job. If you watch that game, and I know you did, the Browns basically. If this is going to sound so, this is the most Browns thing I've ever said in my life. You ready for this? If it weren't for scoring points, the Browns won that game. No. I mean, I'm just saying. I know it sounds ridiculous. I preface it with that, but like, if you watch that game, it was one of those weird games where the Browns handled the ball the entire. They did everything they wanted to do. The Steelers had they couldn't stop them, but it came down to like a maybe one or two failed fourth down attempts, whatever you want to call it. One of them might have been 4th and goal, and. I mean, the Steelers, it was only 15-10. It's not like the Steelers lit them up. The Steelers played bad. The Browns played good, but it was one of those one or two plays.
They only put 10 points.
Huh?
1 or 2 plays? I mean, I'm sure that they had the ball. They had possession at least, 10 times that game. And they could only put up 10 points against the Steelers.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to move on to the helmets.
I don't know if it is.
Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, now I'm looking up stats for that game, and I know this is exhilarating. Okay, fine, we'll move on.
Yeah, exactly. So the stats are not in your favor there.
That game fucking sucked. All right. Helmets, draw it for me, buddy.
It's for you?
Oh, no, not for me. You don't start with me. Are you kidding me? Hey, but you know what?
Draw for me,
I know. We messed up because weeks 9 and 10, the ones we didn't pull helmets for, tons of bye weeks. Like, we missed out on the bye week scenarios. There's still some, but
There's only 2 teams on bye week this week. It's the Broncos and the Rams.
Oh, I want the Rams.
All right. This is for Nick.
There he goes. He's Philadelphia against the Saints at home. Oh.
That's a tough one. You think he throws it back or you think he keeps it?
I think he throws it back.
Okay.
I mean, the Philly is only favored by 1.5 points. There he goes. The second helmet for Nick. This is all very exciting. The Lions against the Browns. Ooh. Oh, sorry, Nick.
Sorry, Nick. Hey, what happens if the team ties? Like the Lions tied last week. What would have happened there?
It's a push.
So you don't lose.
You don't lose.
Your team didn't lose. All right. So just wait.
All right.
The Fins.
The Dolphins. The Dolphins play Houston, I believe, don't they?
No, they play the Jets.
Ooh, if I'm Andrew, I might keep it.
Jalen Waddle, Tua.
I might keep the Fins, buddy.
That is it. Andrew.
Andrew would totally keep the Fins. All right. Miami. All right, Scotty, you want to go next? All right. Scotty's next.
Oh, the Jaguars.
Jags got
the 49ers.
Ooh.
That's going back.
That's a sneaky one. Is it in Jacksonville?
Yeah, it's in
Jacksonville. Ooh, I don't know.
It went back.
It's back. It's back in.
I would never put my reputation on the line with Urban Meyer and what's his name?
T-Law.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
James Robinson, Carlos Hyde, little Agnew. Ooh, the Broncos.
Shoot.
Ooh, the Broncos play.
They're on the bye.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. All right.
Okay, that sucks for me. All right, let it ride. Pick a good one for me, Scott. Count on this.
Falcons.
Ooh, Falcons. That's a bad one. Falcons play. They don't play Dallas, do they?
They play the Patriots on Thursday.
Ooh, Thursday night football. No way.
It's in Atlanta.
The only reason I would even consider keeping it is because the Falcons are at home and it's a Super Bowl rematch. But no,
It's a revenge game.
Throw it
Revenge
back.
game.
It is the
All right,
ultimate
throw it
revenge
back.
game. Go again. I can't get Detroit.
Oh,
What the
the
hell?
Jags.
Are there no good? Oh gosh, Jacksonville. That sucks. Scotty, just humor me. Don't look in the bin. Just shake it and just pull another one because I gotta believe that there's some decency in this world. There's some hope that you could actually draw something that's not a trash team. I mean, show me the Packers or something. The Chargers. Gosh, this freaking sucks, man. All right, well, Scotty's the only safe one. Detroit, Miami, the Broncos, and Jacksonville. That blows.
There you go.
Well, I guess that's it. I mean, we got anything else to say? Jacksonville just took all the wind out of my sails. Ugh.
Hey man, you never know. You know what? It was karma.
Yeah.
Like the spirit of Jacksonville said, you know what? You like us that much?
It's like, oh, he's one of us.
We got you, buddy.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, we'll ride with you. We'll ride with you to the party.
Yeah, we've got you. Yeah,
all right.
So, hey, and you know what? You know what? If Jacksonville does win, how good is that going to feel?
It might feel good. 49ers just won. They just beat up on the Rams, eh? Oh, Jacksonville.
Yeah, they did. They looked really good against them too.
Didn't Trevor Lawrence get beat up on that in their game against the Jabronis?
I think so.
It's bad news for me. All right,
Not
well,
good. Yeah.
Well, next week I'm chugging a 40.
Oh.
It should be quite inconvenient. Eventually, I can't be the only one doing this shit. Okay, like somebody needs to pony up here. All right.
I'll do it next week. Next week I'll do it.
All right. No, pinky promise. What do you got next week? What are you doing? You chose one?
What? I think I'm gonna do the dum dum one.
Dum. All right. Well.
Dum.
Make sure to go to mom and dad's house. They got plenty of dum dums. There you go.
Okay.
Unless you want to go buy some, you can just do that too. You have to eat them all as well.
Yeah.
But you can pick the flavor. That's a big caveat.
So how many do I have to have in my mouth?
I was actually thinking at least 6.
I need to be able to talk.
Yeah, it will be inconvenient for sure. I mean, it won't sound good. I mean, Andrew kind of needs
at least 6.
Yeah,
6 is a lot.
Well, it is, but it's not too many that you can't talk.
And once one goes away, I have to replace it the whole duration of the show, or
you actually think they'll go away?
I like lollipops.
You got a lot of saliva in there, I guess. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah. I would say that you can choose your flavors, but you have to choose at a minimum of 3 different flavors.
3 different flavors.
If you want to color, or if you want to combine some to get a good, like, interesting flavor together going, like, that's what I would be doing, because this is going to be inconvenient no matter what. Might as well try to enjoy some of it.
Like pina colada and like lemon lime.
Interesting. I was thinking like a cherry and root beer situation. That'd be interesting.
All cherry, all root beer.
Actually, you might maybe you could do like a little Shirley Temple on this side, and then over here you do like a little something else, like a little like bubblegum cotton candy situation.
Oh no! That reminds me of the dentist. Do the can the sticks be removed?
No.
Or do I have to have the sticks in?
If they naturally come out, that's one thing. But you can't remove them intentionally. I actually like to do that too, which makes me wonder why I don't just buy a bunch of hard candies instead of Dum Dums. But yeah, no, you can't remove the sticks. The sticks are integral to this inconvenience.
Well, that's what's going to happen then. So next week.
All right. Something to look forward to. All right. Good luck out there. Go Jags. And see you next. Oh, we didn't do a top three, but we don't. Do we need that? I'm kind of done with the top three. Unless you have one, you want to do it.
I was.
I'm kind of over it. I kind of don't want to do this anymore. You want to do one?
Yeah, sure. I'll do one.
All right, hit me.
Or no. Okay. I want to hear your top 3 cities in Ohio.
I hate this stupid game. I think we totally played it out. This top 3 thing. I don't think anybody cares for it anymore. Dublin, Cleveland, and Columbus. Boom. Oh, Athens. I mean, I was thinking about it, but I've never been. So
it's Joey B from Athens, Ohio.
That's why I didn't take it. All right, Scotty. Top 3 furniture items. Have I said this one before? That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Furniture items.
Yeah, types of furniture items.
Types of furniture.
I think I've done that one before.
Well, I don't recall that one, but we've also done quite a few of these. So.
Oh, you want me to go get really creative, or do you want to do that one?
I want you to get creative.
You want me to get really creative?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, Captain Jack Sparrow. Let's hear it.
Top 3 moments you've experienced sorrow.
What? Moments I've experienced sorrow?
Top 3.
Oh,
That's a bat my eyes at you.
That's pretty nice. This might be one of them. Just kidding. I would say watching the Phillies lose in 2011 to the Cardinals when they had their best team and the best season that I've ever seen. That's definitely one of them. I would say moving high schools when I was a kid probably would be one of them. And then I'm gonna go with I don't know if I can think of a third. I've lived a pretty good life.
You can think of a third. You have to. It's kind of part of this stupid game we play.
I would say
just go big, man. Go big.
Go big. I don't know if I can go big. I'd say probably like I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. You got me. You got me on this one.
No. That's not how it's played. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna sit and wait.
I will sit and wait as long as I damn well have to.
I would say it's probably having to leave Cleveland Browns Stadium in shame when the Browns beat the Bengals, and I was getting razzed pretty good by the Browns fans when they told me to go back down to Kentucky and stuff.
They were nice to you.
That's not number 1.
Browns fans are very, very nice. All right.
Dude, they told me to go around the corner and pick up the Bud Light limes because that's what people in Cincinnati drink or some stuff like that. I don't understand. Which, by the way, is an underrated summer drink. Okay, it's really good.
You just did the thing.
Anyways.
All right, ending on a high note. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Scotty, I'll talk to you next week. Hey, Thanksgiving's coming up.
Lots to be thankful for.
Boom. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so if you've listened this far, you must, for some reason, like what you've heard. So given that, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter @ObsessionCast for all future episode updates and whatever else we might post, sports related or otherwise. Thanks for watching.